Our council attorney has also been a commissioner for Circle 10, which is the largest council in Texas, one of the largest council in Texas. And so he understands working with massive members and understanding what the different culture outside of LDS groups are. Peter Self is our new development director, and he worked for the national office in the Washington Council. Vic Roberry is our director of sport services, and he works for all our camps. He works on all our camps and properties, and he started his career in Orange County, California. Then you have myself, director of field services, and I've worked in 5 different councils: Orange County, Charlotte, North Carolina, Palmetto, South Carolina, Tucson, Arizona, and now here, the Great Salt Lake Council. And Mark Griffin, who's worked for several councils and national, and so he understands and has a good understanding of the national program and what we need to do. So we put this group together, and we talked about what if the LDS Church, or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, was to leave. What would our council look like? How would we continue? What would we do to ensure that scouting's future here would be live and well for the years to come? Okay, so we started with our administrative works, and that was with the initial response. If you look at when the church released their statement, about a minute later we released our statement. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the Boy Scouts released their statement at the same time, and then the Great Salt Lake Council about a minute later released their statement. So we were ready. If you talk to Mark, he was ready since the General Conference. He had his statement in his pocket, ready to read it in case President Nelson was to say something about scouting then, and it didn't happen. So we were glad that later on, it happened. So he had that ready. Demographics. What does our council look like demographically? What would happen if everyone was to leave scouting? Would we still have future members? Would we still have potential of growth? So we're looking into all our numbers, and we are very lucky to live in a council where we're extremely diverse, and especially in the Salt Lake City, you have 51% of the population no longer being LDS, so there's growth potential there for us. And then we knew that there was families who were members of the church who wanted to continue scouting. So we were looking at what look like. Do we need to make cuts? Do we need to shrink our staff? Or do we need to grow our staff? And based on our council size, we are understaffed for the new council structure. So we were looking at the properties. Do we need our properties? Do we need to keep all 5 properties? Do we need to sell those properties? What do we need to do to better serve our youth? So those are questions that came up. First of all, membership. Is there going to be future scouts in the Great Salt Lake Council or in the state of Utah, right? And the answer is yes, and we're going to be stronger than ever. If anyone in this room can tell me, except for our executives, what's the average membership of a council around the country, please raise your hand. The average membership. Roger? 7,000. 7,000 is the average membership of a council. Now you have some mega councils like us. We're the 2nd largest council in the U.S., Utah National Parks being the 1st largest council. And so, you have those, Grand Canyon Council, Circle 10, they're mega councils, but the average council, it's about a 7,000 membership council. We looked at our numbers. If everyone was to leave and we keep learning for life and exploring and several of our traditional units, we would have a membership of 8,000 youth. We'd still be pretty good size, right? Plus, all those families that want to continue scouting, we are guessing, and we are working very strong to make it a 20,000 youth, 800 unit council, still putting us in one of the largest councils in America. And I know we can do this because we have tradition in this state of scouting. And that's something different than any other state. We've grown with scouting for more than 8 years, so it's very much ingrained in everything we do here. The other questions we asked is, okay, so if the church is separating from us, who's going to be the new chartering sponsors, right? So our team has been going out and talking to Rotary clubs, other religious organizations, service clubs, businesses. And also, we can create parents of. So let's say that there's a group of you guys that live in the same neighborhood, and your neighborhood is like mine, Beverly Ann. You can make parents of Beverly Ann, and that's your unit. Now, there's another thing that DOA created, which is wonderful. DOA created their own unit, and you have a venturing crew unit there waiting to recruit. So again, we do have lots of charter partners. It's been amazing to see the response of those civic service clubs, religious organizations. They're all ready to sponsor units, and they're excited to have us come in. I had a meeting with Bishop Solis from the Catholic Church, and he's excited. I had a meeting with the Bishop of the United Methodist, and she's excited. So there is growth opportunities. The other question we had is we're losing the LDS buildings. We will no longer be able to meet there for roundtable, for trainings, or even conduct our unit meetings. So what are we going to do? How can I help you? There's also now a council committee that is looking at facilities, looking at places where you guys can go and make that your home to start meeting and continuing your adventure in scouting. The next thing we're doing is who wants to stay? That's the big question. Who wants to stay? And if you're here, I am guessing you want to stay, right? Or you want to a flyer that went to camp that had some answering questions. Woo. We have this website that we created, allinscouting.com, .org, .net. You can join any of those. So we ask you if you want to continue your and register. That way we can keep track of you and know where you want to do, where you want to create a unit, where you want your youth to be transferred, or if you want to be a volunteer. Okay, so we can keep going and we can see where the resources are and how we can better help you. Okay, and then one thing that we created that I think it's really clever is ask our board, and if you have seen our board, they're no longer as young as they want to be. And so we keep asking the board, how do we reach out to our youth? And the question is, well, I don't know, right? So why not ask the youth that we serve? So we created a youth board, and they're gonna tell us how they want to be reached. Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Is it Snapchat? What is it, right? And so, and what programs do you want to see to continue in scouting? So that's with the membership side. We're doing a lot of work. There's 12 committees on the membership side to help this transition grow. If you want to participate in those committees, please come and see me. We will be glad to share those committees with you and have you join those committees to help us. Program. All right, camps. We have some of the best facilities around the country, and I hope you visited our camps. Bear Lake, Teton, Steiner, Richline, Hinckley, right? And then Tracy. They are beautiful properties. And so we want to continue to deliver the scouting program to all the youth that join in those properties. And so we're looking at, do we need to raise some fees, right? So that we can continue to operate. Or do we need to lower fees? So what exactly would you do? Do we need to build better buildings, renovate some of our stuff, buy better boats for Bear Lake? So there's a committee working on all those facilities and making sure that we are ready to deliver that on the program side. Activities, things like Jamboree. So on September 14th, we're going to have the Jamboree for the council, where we're celebrating our 100th year here as a council of this Great Salt Lake Council. So we want to have more activities for you guys. What those activities are going to look like. That's a conversation we're having at the council level. How many are we going to have? Right now we have 22 districts in the entire council. Well, that may be different as we move on. It might not be 22 districts, but how are we going to do the activities, where we're going to do them, and what they're going to look like. Training. We need to make sure that we're up to date on training, and how are we going to deliver the training to our new leaders. So those are kind of things. And one of the new things in scouting is allowing young women to join scouting, right? So how do we go after them? How do we recruit them? How do we help them find a scouting family. Okay, finance. This is what our new, if you haven't seen this at the council center, this is our new facility that we're building down in West Valley. So this is the new council headquarters. It's a beautiful facility. The rooms, we have the conference room that fits about 50 people, and then we have an auditorium that's going to be 250 and can be divided into 4 different rooms. So this becomes also the home for some of those units that no longer have a place to meet. If you see on the outside, there's a loco, there's picnic areas, and there's an amphitheater. It'll have projectors and speakers, and then we're working with the city to allow canoeing to happen in that little river. So it's a beautiful facility. It's a nice opportunity for us to continue. So we're currently raising funds to build that facility since we no longer own our service center. And then finding other revenue streams. Friends of Scouting, you all know that. That will obviously diminish. So we need to figure out how to bring money to the council in other ways to continue serving our youth. All right. Big rocks. So now we're going to talk about some of the things that are happening. We are very hopeful and very positive about the future. However, we know that there's some challenges that we have to overcome. And those challenges we overcome together, not just with the council board and the leadership of the council, but with all of you as members of the council. So survival. Question, are we going to survive?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, and stronger than ever. So like a share 7,000 is the average size of a council. We are going to be just fine. Am I going to be sad to no longer see 74,000 youth served? Of course. Yeah. But those that stay with us will get a great program because we'll have dedicated leaders that want to deliver that program to them. Okay, so we're excited for that. So we're not worried about the size. And because we have a good scouting culture here, we're excited about our survival rate. All right, question. Do we own our properties? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, we do own our properties. That's a own any of our properties. That's a lie. The only property we don't, the only 2 properties we don't know is the current council center. It belongs to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And Steiner is in a 100-year lease, and that's coming up, and we're going to lease it again from the Forest Service. But Hinckley Scout Ranch, Teton High Water, which does all the whitewater rafting trips, and what am I missing? Bear Lake and Tracy. Bear Lake has a little catch. If we ever stop doing scouting in Bear Lake, then it goes back to the state. But you know that's not going to happen. So that's important for us to know that those properties are properties of the Great Salt Lake Council, and we continue to move forward. So do we have too many or just enough? We believe for a council of 20,000, we have just enough properties. So we are not going to sell any. We're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to find new ways to bring revenue through those properties. One of the great things, well, not great things, this summer, Philmon kind of burned down, right? So it's not a great thing. But it did bring them some great opportunities for us. A lot of those crews who were going to do their treks out there came to our properties, Teton, High Adventure, and to Richline. So now that they came here, they're excited to see the mountains that we have and Wyoming up there. And so they're planning for future trips to come over here. So it was a good news for us. So we're going to have outside revenue streams. And then we're going to talk about the biggest thing, culture. There's going to be a big culture change that's going to have to happen in the Great Salt Lake Council. So here's a couple things that we're going to go through. Callings versus volunteering, right? No more callings. Now it's you wanting to volunteer, right? Languages of scouting. So currently in our trainings, I'm not saying that this district does, but a lot of the districts, they hold trainings where they say primary president, young men's president, stake president, bishop, All that is gone. Now we're going to hear scoutmaster, institutional head, committee chair, den leader, right? So that language. Optional, not mandatory. Youth will have the opportunity to join if they want to. And if they don't want to, that's just fine. The same with our volunteers. They have an opportunity to volunteer if they want to. And if they don't, that's just fine, right? The way that we fund units. Most units are constrained to one fundraiser a year. That's gone. You guys can fundraise as many times as you want and as much as you, and raise as much as you want, right? Camping. Sometimes you're restricted to camp within a certain mileage of your state. That is also gone. You can attend any camp in the United States from the Boy Scouts. Economy of scale. Because of economy of scale, you know, we have this huge, massive structure. Now we're going to be working differently, and it's going to be a little bit easier. 11-year-olds. There's no longer 11-year-olds. It's just scouts, right? Girls. They're part of our program now, so that's an opportunity. 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. Lions, tigers, and wolves, right? So now we'll have that opportunity and advancement. Advancement will be a little bit different in the culture that's coming. Okay. New units. A lot of people are asking us, okay, I'm ready to start a new unit. What do I do? Do I wait till the church leaves? Do I start now? We are partners with the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints until December 31st of 2019. So we ask you to please follow the advice of your leaders. However, if there's some leaders who are choosing not to follow that advice and youth are falling behind, please come and we can help you find a unit or create a unit to continue your son's experience, your son's and daughter's experience. Okay? So we have packets over there and we can help you with those things. That information. Okay, we want to go over this in detail. No, the church doesn't own our camps. We own them. Okay? Scouting dies in December 31st of 2019. No, that's not true. You cannot be an Eagle Scout after December 31st of 2019. Again, no, that's not true. What is the only limit to becoming an Eagle Scout?
18 requirements.
Age 18. Right?
Except in special needs scouting.
That's right, except for special needs scouting. Okay. Some other things there. We are funded 100% by the LDS Church. Not true. Okay? So we have other avenues, and the church doesn't help us with any of the funding. The name of the Boy Scouts of America has changed to Scouts BSA. No, the name of the organization and the movement is the Boy Scouts of America. The program from 11 to 18, which was formerly known as Boy Scouts, has dropped the boys because we're now having young ladies join to Scouting BSA, just like Venturing BSA. Okay, so that's the only change. The organization's name has not changed. Okay. Fundraising dollars goes to pay a lucrative salary to the executives. No, that's not true. And I can tell you, I look at my check. All right. The LDS Church. So here's some of the big rocks we're also facing. Okay. A lot of the leaders are telling us, we don't know if we will continue with you until we see what the church's program is. Right? It's a fair statement. Truth is, I don't know what that program is. The only ones that know are the general authorities at church headquarters, right? So all I can tell you is, if you want to continue your experience in scouting, please do it. It's just like any other thing, like soccer, basketball, cheerleading. It's like any of those clubs. And then early departure. We are seeing this. A lot of units are being dropped because a leader said, well, the church said they're leaving, so I'm stopping now. And it's really sad when I get phone calls, and I get all the phone calls, to be honest. I get about 15 to 20 phone calls a day. And just last week, I was sharing with them, I got a phone call from a mother who said, my Cub Master said, we can no longer do Cub Scouting, and my son cannot get his arrow of light because scouting is over. And my son is sad. And so we had to say, you know, that's not what we've been advised by the church leadership. Find a new unit. Personal experience. My son was going to day camp. And the night before, the leader said, we're canceling day camp. The leader quit and scouting's pretty much over. If it wasn't because I'm the leader in the Boy Scouts of America, I probably would have said, okay. But I know the difference. So I called and my wife and I talked and I said, you're going to take youth protection, you're going to get registered, and you're going to go with my son, right? And so she did. And then I went home and I started thinking again, well, what about the rest of those kids? Why does my son get to have that opportunity and not those other kids? So we called the leader and we said, if you can't make it, my wife and I will take all the kids up there and we'll be the leaders for the day, right? So he ended up going with my wife and all the kids went and had their scouting experience. But this is what's happening all around the council. So we're losing kids. So again, we don't want to start the massive exodus, but if there's already units who are going, we want to make sure that we're helping our youth continue their scouting adventure and our volunteers. Okay, family of scouting, that's a brand new thing coming in. You have a very famous young lady here. Where'd she go? She's back there.
She's with the paparazzi.
Yeah, she's with the paparazzi. She just finished filming a video last week, correct? That's going to go to every LDS family register in scouting throughout the nation about how you can continue your experience of scouting even after the church leaves. So I'm very happy to have Miriam in our program and for her to be a strong leader in that program. So we're going to continue to serve our young ladies in scouting. And again, it's up to us. It's up to us in this room. Where do you want to see scouting in the next 100 years? Where do you want to see the Great Salt Lake Council in the next 100 years? We are the ones to make it happen. We are the ones to make this legacy continue for youth and generations to come. This program is amazing. This program changes lives. This program makes youth better and makes them leaders in the future. I tell you because I am the product of that program. Now you heard me throughout the night with a strong accent, and every now and then you hear the accent come out stronger with the certain words that I say, especially the very, you know. I am an immigrant to this country, okay? I came here finding refuge from a country full of war. And my parents found this beautiful country and they call it their home. And I started here with Boy Scouts. I was invited to a troop and I didn't know how to speak English. And that troop helped me to speak English, and that troop helped me to find a passion and love for this country and this flag and this place that I call my home. So I know scouting changes lives, and if we keep doing this, we're going to have future leaders that will make this country better. Again, thank you for everything you do. And now I want to turn the time over to you. What's on your mind? Yes?
Can I take a moment to introduce myself?
Yes. You want to come up here so they can hear you?
Sure. I'm with the Order of the Arrow, and we're creating troops. Actively, we have the paperwork done. We're working hard. And we want you to know about it for two reasons. One, we'd like to be a resource to you. If you'd like to create a troop, and you just need somebody to hold your hand and help, and we're willing to help you create a troop for whatever organization, not us. But we also want you to know that we'll have some troops that are available. I have a clipboard that I'm going to pass around. Colby, you'll help me pass that around, won't you? We'll send it down and let people put you. This is just if you want to be kept informed. We're going to have an email list. We won't bug you with anything except info about the troops we're creating. There will be a troop in Tooele. It's going to meet, hopefully, the final word will come back in a day or two, but I was over there checking out the location today. The Tooele transcript is offering a room in their building for us to meet in for that troop. We're creating a troop in Stansbury. We do not have a location for that yet. We're creating a troop in Sandy and another one in Bountiful. And then we're going to continue to create troops as they're needed and as we have the manpower to staff them. My job is to facilitate bringing all those together. It is not just for Order of the Arrow youth. Initially, we're populating those troops with young men like Colby, who are from the Order of the Arrow, who will be our leaders. Those will be very traditional troops. Senior patrol leader and patrol leaders will run the show. But they haven't been trained yet. Our youth staff, so that next year, when all of a sudden all the moms out there start going, how's my kid ever going to be an Eagle Scout? And it starts to dawn on them what this decision is going to be in their lives. We want to have a place ready to go for their young men, so that those 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 13-year-old boys that are at their early stages of their scouting career will have a place to go with trained youth and adult leaders. So that brings me to adults. There's more adults here than kids. We need you. And we'd love to hear from you. So if you're interested in being one of the adult leaders, either on a committee, assistant scoutmaster, merit badge counselor, if you want to be involved in the troops that we're forming, please put your name on the clipboard that's going around with that email. And make sure you print it so that I can read it and type it into the computer and not make a mistake. And then you will never hear from us again. So, my name's Dave Bresnahan, and I'm kind of new in Tooele. Sorry, I just moved here, but I've been coming to Tooele for years. Love it, and we're finally here. And I'd love to get to know you. If I haven't met you, introduce yourself and say hello tonight. I'd be happy to say hello, and just so we know each other's face. And if you have any questions about what we're doing, please ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. All right, any questions you might have that I can answer for you? Wow. Okay, we'll start right here.
You mentioned a situation where your wife and another man went to camp together. That probably wouldn't happen in the LDS church. How does scouting handle those situations?
It's okay with scouting. Yeah, it's you have I had one of the best leaders in one of my units was a scoutmaster who was female, and she was amazing. Tammy, she later became a chairman of the district.
That, but the male and female together.
It happens all the time.
It happens all the time. Outside of scouting, it's normal. Outside in scouting, it's normal.
Even in LDS church, it happens.
I was just going to say, I just completed the latest round of videos and training for Scoutmaster. Like most of us, I took that up. And if you go through it, it explains it cut and dry.
Yep.
There's no question.
I'm trying to think of how to ask this without making it a run-on question. How is the transition going to happen at the end of next year when our callings are done? And I mean, you kind of answered it when you said that this young lady made a video, but how else are we supposed to help?
Perfect. So two things. Two things, and I'll pass it to Roger. Okay. This is why I need the All-In Scouting. If you can log in and register those that want to continue to All-In Scouting, because it helps me to understand where and who wants to continue scouting, and we're contacting them every other month, letting them know, okay, we haven't forgotten, we're going to move forward, and if there's a unit there that has been created near them, we call them and say, hey, we found a unit, they're right here, you can start doing it. Now, if there's units in the church, like I know that there's wards there or states that are creating their unit, their scout troop or pack, you can dual register now. Create a unit now, dual register. You don't have to be meeting with the new unit. You can still continue to meet with your old unit until that day, December 31st of 2019, and then start meeting with your unit when your practice, your paperwork is in, your youth protection is all taken care of, and those youth are ready to smoothly transition to an existing unit. Okay. So that's why All-In Scouting is super, super important. Okay, so currently, if you want to keep, I don't know, 130, let's say, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints owns that unit number. Okay? Owns that unit number. Okay? In December 31st of 2019, or January 1st, sorry, of 2020, the church no longer owns that number. So that becomes your number if you want to continue. Now, there's another way. If your ward decides history of that unit, for example, we have Troop 1 who has over 100 years of history. And let's say they stop meeting now and they want to have that history and continue with that number. We just need a red letter, which is a pink letter you've seen, and your bishop signs it saying we're releasing that number, we're no longer charging with the Boy Scouts of America. Congratulations, I turn it over to you and it's yours.
Thank you.
And you could also get that projected to January 1st, 2020.
Correct.
So just a thought on what Donovan has said, and maybe some of you don't know this, is the fact that yet at Orderero, we're going to have a lot of boys that want to go somewhere. And so 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, we're going to need more than 1 or 2. Right now, we have a functioning Boy Scout troop that is sponsored by the Elks that's already been going for over a year. They have 15 boys in their troop actively going. And some of those leaders already serve in other LDS positions or Latter-day Saint positions. Ben, who led us tonight, is one of those scouts. Colby has been in that unit. We also have a Cub Scout unit that has approximately 35 Cub Scouts in that's functioning here. And as I understand, in September, they are going to start their girl program. They have their leaders all in place, and so they'll be starting the girls up in September. They're 4 years and running in that Cub Scout. We have many others that are on the troop, so we'll need those people. And we want them to do the same thing. We want them to transition now so that boys have a continuous program. Don't wait till the end of time when the LDS or the Latter-day Saint Church decides it's time to no longer sponsor. We want those youth to start participating now. Be that dual registered. And as us as leaders, we need to know, just like Donovan, because I'm sure as I go to him and say, hey, I've got a new unit functioning and I need help finding leaders, then I can turn to his resources that he's already gathered. So it's important that we step up now. And I'm going to throw the gauntlet down. You can't have Troop 130 because I'm already working on getting
All right, so with this same question, I'm going to answer a couple of things and then I go back to you. There's people asking questions, how do you start a unit? What do I need to do? We have instructions, 5 leaders, you need to be youth protection trained, you need to find a facility, we can help you with all that, and then get all the registration. Another question that I get is, okay, well, I want to start a unit, but I don't want to take over the liability. What if somebody gets hurt? Congratulations, the Boy Scouts of America covers you with the liability. We give you liability. You need a liability insurance for a facility. We cover you up to $2 million for insurance for the facility use. So we can cover you guys. There's no hesitation in that part to move forward. And then the third one is, okay, so the LDS Church, the Church of Jesus Christ will no longer pay our fees or our camps or our advancements. What do I do? Well, there's fundraisers. There's popcorn, there's camp cards, and there's whatever you want to do as a fundraiser. We have the United Methodist Church down in Draper, Hilltop. They raised $27,000 in popcorn last year, covered the entire year of activities, and they didn't charge a dime to their parents. So there's activities you can do, there's ways you can raise funds so you can help produce your program. These little packages can tell you everything and how to open a unit, and it has our contact in the front so you can let us know that you're interested to help you move forward. All right, you had a question.
Yeah, and this might seem a little redundant to all this, but has there been any talks of whether LDS stakes or wards may charter a Boy Scout unit in a more traditional relationship?
Okay, so the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints area. So, however, there is some stake presidents that have said we want to continue scouting from our stake. So they're creating a unit not sponsored by the church, but with youth of their church and leaders of their church. Okay. Somebody else? Yes. Handbooks are the same. Nothing changes. We're national handbooks. Yep. Yep.
You talk about church handbook or scout handbook?
Yeah. We're talking BSA.
Yes, there is possible to combining troops prior to 2020. Like I said, the easiest way is to start the paperwork now, because you're going to see an even bigger push August of next year to ramp up for the departure of the church. So if you start the paperwork now, it makes it so much easier to continue that process.
What's happening in the recruitment of tourists, scouts? What's the program?
So we have an awesome team of professional recruiters who can help you. Tess is actually leading that team. We're going to teach you how to recruit and how to keep parents, because it's a different thing. It's a whole different scenario recruiting for units who don't have callings. It's not a calling. And so we're going to teach you all the tricks that every council in the nation does to help you with it. Skills, there you go.
Are we reaching out to the current Boy Scouts?
Yes, we're going to the current units, and then we're opening the brand new units, and we're doing, I believe, Tess, the 27th of this month. I was in conversation with someone else. There's going to be David and Scott, is it the 27th? September 4th. Okay, there will be a training on that, on how to recruit that at the council level. So you'll see more information come out. Questions? No. Any other questions? Yes.
In terms of district realignments, are you going to wait till after 2020 to assess the needs there?
So no, there is a committee meeting already, and they will be presenting their plan to the, so it has to go through several steps. So the committee's meeting, it's a realignment committee, and then they're going to present their findings and their suggestions to the governance committee. Then the governing committee will pick through it and see what they like, what they don't like, bring it back to them, and then it will be presented at the board in November, the board meeting where the board will decide whether that's the plan or not, and they will also tell us when that takes effect. So it's in the process, but I would assume that it will be sooner than that, half a year and then there.
Will you explain to us what happens to scout leaders in units who this year procrastinating taking the youth protection, the new youth protection program that will be in September?
Okay, good question. If you're in an LDS unit, congratulations, you don't have to do recharter. Okay? However, we encourage you don't have to do recharters. You don't have to do recharters.
No, they're extending.
Yep, so if you're in an LDS unit again, you will not see a recharter until you become a regular unit. But we do encourage you to go and do your youth protection. Taking a youth protection, if you're in an LDS unit, you are opening yourself to potential problems if you're not taking youth protection. And if you notice, our new youth protection has 2 extra things. Who knows what those are? Bullying and suicidal, identifying potential suicidal tendencies in youth, which in our state is a big thing. So I encourage you to go out there and do youth protection. But no, if you don't take it and you're in an LDS unit,
It's the way it's always been.
But the changes,
unit and you don't take your youth protection, by national law now, by the Boy Scouts of America policy, they will not let you recharter whatsoever. Okay. So.
Jennifer,
I was told if you didn't have it done, you might still be in an LDS unit, but your my.scouting.org account will go inactive and you won't be able to sign in again.
I haven't heard that. I'll check on that for you. I know that if you're in an LDS unit and you're doing that transfer and your youth protection is not up to date, then it will not let you charter. At that point, yes, it will not let you charter. Yes?
I am a good example of one problem that could overlap. So I'm in an LDS unit, and my youth protection expires at the end of September. So in my mind, we're put in there as the scoutmaster. Right now, that is going to be in effect on September 1st, if and only if I get my youth protection renewed, because I'm creating a new. So if you're doing what I'm doing, if you're going to dual register in a troop that you're creating or being a part of one that's being created, you need to have your youth protection up to date, not just 1 month left to go.
Correct.
So I found out, and I'm a procrastinator. I still haven't done it. I get it done.
I had a question over here. You had a question for me?
Requirements to keep our district intact.
I think what he means is, when are we preparing our own council?
Exactly.
Where have you heard that before?
Actually, I already started that.
You are.
I don't know what the requirements would be to keep a district. I know, just so you guys are aware, in order for us to create districts at a council level, there has to be a certain amount of youth that we serve currently in units for us to qualify the district executive to be part of that. It's part of the national structure. And so we are looking at that, and that's part of the whole discussions. What's it going to look like? If we do it right now based on what it looks like.
So to hedge our bet, we need to create units and get our.
Yes, please. But if we were to create that, we have 49 community units and other faith units. That's not enough to create districts at the moment.
49 units?
And the entire council.
We have 49 now, so that's not enough. We need more.
So if you guys keep creating, then we can look at that and continue with that. Fine.
Okay, so in LDS units where a person has been released from their calling to the scout, but the charter is continuing. Usually it's the rechartering time that purges out all the people who are actually gone. How can we opt these people?
Roster check.
Okay, can you eliminate them when you do the roster check?
Yes. And you can add your youth. They are turning 8 at that time and all this stuff. New move-ins and things like that. So we still want you to do that to protect those who are in the scouting program at that
So
time.
will that be why we
There's a inviting members there, and we can teach you how to do all that. Yes. Okay. We don't know where we perceive that there's going to be a potential, lack in there. However, you heard Elder Pace, who was here just last week, who said, go strong. The church has said to go strong. That's a message from the Area 70s. That's a message from the presidency of the 70s. That's a message from the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. We don't know. Once we see what that looks like after this fall, yes, the governing board will sit down and make some arrangements and figure out what the operations kind of look like. Do we need to tighten our belts a little bit more? What do we do? Yeah. But, like I said, part of the presentation finance, we're looking at other opportunities to bring revenue to the council.
Will Scout Camps include events on Sundays like they do on all the other camps?
We are looking at that. One of the conversations that we're having. If you go to outside of Salt Lake. Every camp starts on Sunday and it ends, on Saturday afternoon. However, we also understand that we're going to have a huge population of LDS members who can continue in scouting, and that's not going to work for them. So we're looking at two options where we start on Sunday, and the LDS have the option of coming in on Monday.
Just so you know, in the Kansas City Area Council, H.O. Bartle is a 10-day camp. And so Sundays is part of the camping experience. And for LDS troops there, they just have their Saturday meetings there at camp. And have a, what do they call it? Visitor Sunday? It's called Visitor Sunday.
Oh, there.
And family come visit their scouts at camp on Sunday. They have their meetings.
Yeah, again, that'll be a decision on the stake.
That's something that can be done.
But again, the wards are no longer there, the church is no longer there. Yes?
Okay. Well, I was at a scout camp in Wyoming about 2 weeks ago, and they had Sunday services, and it was very nice. They had wooden benches that were logs out under the pine trees, but they had an LDS service, and then they had a non-LDS service.
Scouts home.
Mm-hmm. So whichever you were comfortable doing, that was what they did. And they actually had a troop that came in Saturday afternoon so that they could attend Sunday LDS services.
Yeah, and you'll see us model a lot of things from Philmont, because they've dealt with this kind of situations for years.
Marvel even has different chapels on the reservation
for those kind of services.
For different denominations.
Any other questions? Well, I hope I was able to answer your questions. And I hope you understand how exciting it is to see the future of scouting. I am thrilled to go around the council and meet those volunteers who want to continue and the youth who want to continue. And I know that we're going to make a difference in the youth here at the Great Salt Lake Council. Again, thank you so much for having us tonight. You are a wonderful district. I enjoy working with your leaders, and they tell me wonderful things about you. If you have any further questions, please come and see one of our executives or myself. We'll be glad to answer it. Please state those all in scouting, papers, anything you want, so you can share with those around you. And again, thank you, and I'll pass the time over to you. Sure, yeah, definitely.
So as of last count, just so you know, this is right now this is our district. Okay, we currently serve for our district 4,327 youth, 319 units. So we want to say how we keep our district. We get all those boys to stay, or we get the majority of them.
Do we need to maintain
as many as we can get, because they haven't given us a number.
How many do we need?
That we don't know.
You don't know?
40 plus.
45 troops for one district.
Unit, not troop.
Units.
So we can have
Yes.
One of the things that was stated, just to relieve your mind a little bit, one thing stated around here the last time, one of the last times around here, is that Sage chapter, the Tooele chapter, in the Order of the Arrow anyway, is the largest OA in at the time is it was the largest council in the BSA. So we're not going to go from being big to non-existent. That's just not going to happen because we have to